Right, here's a table from Alex from the homework, and it's talking about some solubility. Remember that many ionic species, but not all, are soluble in water. And when ionic species go into water, they actually form ions. And so let's take a look at these compounds right here. So each of these, N2O, nitrous oxide, or dinitrogen oxide, if you're naming that correctly, that is not an ionic compound. PG, propylene glycol, the stuff that often gets put into e-cigarettes. This right here, that is a molecular compound. It's not going to form any ions. You see that? Don't let that OH on the end fool you. You might think that's the hydroxide ion, but it is not, because there is no counter ion here. This is not an ionic species. And then last is acetonitrile, something I use a lot of in the lab. And so when we dissolve these in water, they do not form any ions. They themselves are just dissolved. And so what species is going to be present? So in this case, it's going to be N2O. Because it's a molecular compound, it doesn't form ions. Propylene glycol is going to be C3H6. You guys are probably faster at this than I am. And this is going to be OH, and then finally 2. Then acetonitrile, again, that is a molecular compound. They're all covalent bonds in there, so it's not going to break apart at all, even though it is soluble in water. And so I'm just going to write acetonitrile right there. Now you might think that is the cyanide ion. It is not the cyanide ion. This is acetonitrile, and one way you can tell there is no metal or ammonium. That is the cation there. This is not an ionic compound. So if we were to submit that to Alex and we put that, should come back and say that we are correct, and it did.